I'm Mike Daugherty. Thanks for having me here and listening to my vlog about government regulation, whether it be a big company or small, and cybersecurity and data security. So I'm on the board of Idenhaus Consulting, probably, I hope, because of my experience with the Federal Trade Commission in data security. As the CEO of LabMD and now the founder of the Cyber Education Foundation, I've seen the inside of the beast. In 2008, my laboratory that I founded was hacked and 9,000 of our patients were taken. But what was different about this, it was almost the earliest version, the sort of prehistoric version of ransomware, because we got a call saying your stuff's out in cyberspace, we found it, we remediate it, and if you pay us, we can take care of this and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again. But I never got any proof as to what happened. And because of that, I wouldn't hire the company. And they turned us over to the Federal Trade Commission. And the Federal Trade Commission started interviewing my company, LabMD, for data security practices they considered were in violation of Section 5 of the FTC Act. So what you need to know about regulators in the United States is that Congress has never appointed anyone specifically. So agencies self-appoint their power. And the Federal Trade Commission appointed themselves cybersecurity cop because of their mandate in Section 5 of the FTC Act that came out in 1914, that they are responsible for protecting consumers from unfair practices and deception. So if you say you have perfect data security and you don't, that's going to be deceptive. And what they're saying is things like having exposed data, notice I did not say breached, but exposed data, is going to be a violation of the law. Now, if you want to learn a lot about the LabMD case, it went on for 10 years and it just concluded earlier in 2018. You can Google FTC wounded LabMD and you can read a very in-depth Business Week article because there's no time to really go into the specifics here. But the big point of this is that regulators have a constantly moving goalpost of what you're supposed to do. And the Federal Trade Commission lost their case against me because they didn't specify standards. They said they didn't have to tell you what was expected of you, that they can make it up as they go along, that they can regulate you on a case-by-case basis. Now, if you're sitting in an organization that doesn't have a lot of money, you want to know exactly what you're supposed to do, and that doesn't exist. If you're in a big Fortune 500 company and you're spending millions of dollars, you would assume that you would have some sort of plateau, that you would be checking off the box, so to speak. And that doesn't exist either. And this is mortifying to people if they get stuck within the crosshairs of an agency. And other agencies outside the Federal Trade Commission might have different requirements. So if you're in an industry like banking or financial services or healthcare, you've got different agencies all coming at you and they might have different requirements. And it's all very gray. Now that's counterproductive, and the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled that the FTC has to do things with some level of specificity, but not having standards really seems to shock people. They just assume there would be. But unfortunately for me, and fortunately for you, that we fought this in the courts now. It only took a decade and it destroyed the organization, but we now have the government regulatory infrastructure being forced to get specific. So if you want more information on that case, again, look at the FTC wounded LabMD, Google that and read the article. And it's just important to understand there's no such thing as going from A to B, that it's a constantly moving situation, and record everything so if the regulator shows up at your door, you can handle the moving goalposts with some sort of clarity and written confirmation. Thanks for listening.